to another video of Vibing with Via. So it's almost June, which means that it is vacation season, summer holidays right around the corner, and I am sure that everybody is excited to take their ultimate vacation. But based on what's going on in Jamaica, I'm not sure what kind of vacation this is going to be. It's either it's going to be an inside vacation or an outside vacation, meaning that the most persons will be able to do is probably go spend a couple of days in a hotel. I guess that's what locals have been doing for the longest while since we have been under lockdown. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take you through a few tips that you should bear in mind as you plan for your all-inclusive vacation. All right, so one of the first things that must be borne in mind when you're going to be taking this ultimate vacation at a hotel is whether or not this hotel is offering an all-inclusive package. Newsflash, there is no such thing as an all-inclusive hotel. Get that through your mind. Because all-inclusive does not necessarily mean that every single thing is included. Think about what you would see in a typical all-inclusive hotel. So you would have been given a room, you would have gotten access to the food, mainly those that are prepared in the buffet restaurant. Sometimes those specialty restaurants are not available. I could tell you of a case in which a friend of mine spent 2 weeks in one particular hotel, and at the end of the day he just wanted one night in which he could book one of those restaurants, just to have a good night out with the girls, just a different kind of vibe and everything, and he just could not get a reservation. So one of the things you're going to find is that you're going to be told, oh, this is always full to capacity, it's always booked out. So even within your little window of spending maybe 2 nights and 3 days at a hotel, which is what the average Jamaican will do, you might find that you may not be able to partake in all the offerings as it relates to these specialty restaurants. Another thing to be borne in mind is that some of these all-inclusive hotels really and truly are not giving you anything exclusive as it relates even to alcoholic beverages. You're not necessarily entitled to top shelf liquor, right? You have to be purchasing at a particular category in order to be entitled for that. Simple things like lobster and perhaps steak might also not be included in a menu that you would find open to everybody who is using the resort. It might be at a certain tier that you'd have bought in. For example, if you've bought in at the luxury tier or an adult only or a grand or a prime, whatever. The damn dog them again. I kid you not. I need to do a video about dogs, because we don't know what this is about. But anyway, let us press on. So I'm saying to you that you have to be mindful of the offerings that are included when they say it is all inclusive, because the reality is not everything is included. You'd be surprised to know that even things like getting a cabana by the poolside or being entitled to certain lounge chairs or private area is not a part of your package. So that's the first thing. Is it really all inclusive? Now, before you decide to venture out and do your bookings, you want to ensure that you would have researched your hotel carefully. You want to look at the reviews that were given. You want to look at the pictures of the property. You want to look to see when it was last renovated. You want to see what the offerings are. Why? Oftentimes, a lot of persons book, they get caught up in the hype, and then upon arrival, they are ultimately disappointed. And there is something definitely wrong with paying thousands of dollars to have what is a vacation, and at the end of the day, you're walking away feeling like that was a waste of money. Do your research. Another thing I should have mentioned when it comes to all-inclusive hotels is the fact that water sports, non-motorized water sports, is what is usually included, so you can get on the ocean, get on your little kayak or your paddle boat. But if you want to do things such as riding a jet ski or getting on one of those catamaran cruises or doing what you call that now, not skydiving, parasailing, you have to pay additional money for that. So be mindful if you're looking for that adventure. Ching ching, dollars are up. All right, another thing that you ought to know about all-inclusive hotels is that there are some that will allow you to tip their workers, and there are others that have very strict policies on tipping. Do your research and find out. Now, this is a very sore point for me. I find that sometimes as a local, when I venture into certain hotels, it's as if it is the expectation of my very own people that I'm going to be prepared to tip. And if I walk across the hotel 1,000,001 times and they did something nice, I am going to tip. I understand tipping culture. I have worked more than once overseas and I know how far tips can go. But I also understand that what happens in a tourist area for tourists is different than what happens in a tourist area when local people are becoming tourists, right? We're talking about now the balancing the dollar. I wanted to say like balancing the scale or balance of equation or some terminology that would suggest that something is just not equal. For the average person to be able to take a vacation, you know, whether with friends or with their family members, it requires some planning and it perhaps will require some savings, because the reality is it is not cheap. Let me just share something with you. The cost of my staying in a hotel, like a decent hotel in Jamaica. So let us say that I'm not going to go super class bougie. I'm going to go average, but I'm still going to go nice. I'm talking about places like Moon Palace or Iberia Star, Bahia Principe, Rio, any of those, Hyatt Ziva. We could go on and on and on. The cost to stay at any of these hotels, and I'm just going to say that they're average priced hotels, the cost of that could actually get me a plane ticket. I could have gone overseas and I could have planned a vacation lasting anywhere from 5 days to 7 days, inclusive of park attractions and a few other things, for the same price that it is going to cost me to stay in a hotel in Jamaica just for a weekend. Let's just break it down so people know what time it is. So it's not cheap. It really isn't. And so I think that for us as locals, you know, persons working in the industry, it should be understandable why not every local will be prepared to tip you. I believe in tips personally because, like I said, I have had the opportunity to work in a different environment that actually thrived on tips. It was a hotel industry just the same, and basically apart from my base pay, what I was getting at tips, good money, you know, it allowed me to do great things. Now, another thing to bear in mind about all-inclusive now, if you want to get excellent breakfast, good food, you better wake up before day. This is not a vacation, okay? This is a race for life. Survival of the fittest. You better get up early in the morning and get to that spot by as early as, let's say, 7 o'clock, when the freshest of the freshest is being presented. You know, I have stayed at hotels before and I'm just, I'm on vacation, so I'm waking up late. And when I get there to get breakfast, God bless what is left. Disappointed. Might as well go for lunch. Those hotels which, in the same vein, what the offerings for lunch is also not that good, or the offerings that they may have at like a grill shack or so, it's really not good. Some dry burger or some hot dogs, the variety that you would expect just to munch on throughout the day is not always readily available. So again, you have to do your research and you have to know what time things are happening. So when you get to a hotel, depending on if you want to make your money work for you, you're really not on a vacation. You're on a tight schedule and you better get with it. Think about it. By the time breakfast is done, you're moving into the morning activities. So if you want to be a part of soca size and beach aerobics and this a party and this a hunt and that or whatever, because you paid your money for this, you better get up early. Likewise, dinner, it's the same thing. Now, here's another thing about hotels that I don't know how many persons know. It is customary for hotels to have what is called an all-white party. And right, it doesn't mean that you really have to follow that slavishly, because normally I don't. because I just don't believe that, you mean, you're not my people. Why do I need to dress up like everybody else over there? But if it's a thing, then it's a thing. And if you're there for a thing, then that is a thing that you must bear in mind. So they would have these all-white parties. So a rule of thumb is that once you're going to the hotel, you probably, ladies, you want to bring like a white dress. Gentlemen, you want to bring a white shirt. I don't know. To see a man in full white is like watching an umpire. So I would suggest to the men, you wear a white shirt with a dark color pants. Something to that effect. If it's Valentine's Day, I guess you can roll out in your red pants and still look like early Santa. I don't know. But that's one of the things to bear in mind as well. Now, all-inclusive hotel. What else is there to pay attention to? Room offerings. Now, a lot of persons like the idea of, I need a room with an ocean view. I need a room with a partial ocean view. My position, I just need a room. What is the purpose of the room? Pretty much just to freshen up, because when I do go to a hotel, it's really about team no sleep, because again, I'm trying to capitalize on all the activities that are there, and it's a whole mood, it's a whole vibe. You know, there's a big thing called people watching. You could sit down and just watch people dance. My last trip to a hotel, that's exactly what I did. There was really not much to do. And so there was this one gentleman who decided he would go live on his Instagram, and he's listening to the music in the background, and my boss up a whole heap of blank, and him do the most, and that was my entertainment, because I was cracking up. Because in my mind, the people that were on his live probably were of the opinion that he was at some big shot party, not knowing that he was the only person in that entire space dancing up a storm, dancing, because he only danced once he went live, right? And so persons, a fire emoji, yo, your party lit, da, 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 da. And I found that to be funny. I mean, it's pretentious, but it's really funny, right? So another thing that you really and truly want to look at is your room choice. What you get in your room for? You know, is it a case in which you're going to be staying in your room a lot, and so an ocean view would be so important? Because here's the thing. If you're asking to see the sea that God created, you are going to be paying a few bucks more. You're going to pay for that. Can you imagine? You are going to pay to be able to see the sunrise and the sunset from your room. But in the same vein, if you went downstairs and you stood right by the shoreline, you'd have seen the same sunset. So you may want to ask yourselves the question, is it worth it to pay additional money for something that you might very much not see because you might have been otherwise engaged? Okay. What else should I tell you about all-inclusive hotels? Let's see. I think there's something else that you should know about an all-inclusive hotel. Ooh, the checkout time. Now be very careful with that. I had an experience in which a particular hotel had changed their checkout time from 3 p.m. all the way to 12. Can you imagine? I would have been losing all of 3 hours. And when I was told that checkout was at 12, I literally had to say, so are you saying to me that I'm not allowed to have lunch? And the lady tried to say, well, when you check out, that's what it is, you check out. And I looked at her like, lady, let me tell you this. I'm not new to this. I've been doing this for my idea, my niece, so let us just get this sorted out the right way. Eventually, we were allowed to have lunch, and I gave her my word. I'm not interested in getting in your pool. I'm not interested in getting in your ocean or whatever. It's just that we would have been up from before day, and we would have been staying on site until later that afternoon because I didn't drive, and so we had to be picked up. And the ride just would have come until in the afternoon. So what was I going to do? Sit in a place where I'm not able to move from point A to point B because I'm not going to pay a juta rate just to go get some food. When I am on a property that has food, it makes no sense, right? So that's one of the things. Since I've touched on checking out, I want to point out too that you want to look at your check-in time. Here's a safe thing to do too. A room may not become available until 3 p.m. For some hotels, it might be 2. But here's the wise thing. Get to the hotel from in the morning. You could always leave your bags in a baggage area and basically go about your business. Go start eating, go start swimming, go start being a part of the activities, because if you should really count up the hours, you know, you're really actually not staying there for 2 nights and 3 whole days, because a day is 24 hours. Do the maths and count it out and see whether or not this whole thing makes sense. All right. Another thing I should mention, while you're at an all-inclusive, whatever you do, you see that armband, don't lose it, because you can run into problems. So if you figure that it is becoming a little bit loose or it might be broken, you want to get to your front desk right away, let them know what's going on so that they can replace it. I've seen persons you know, come under unnecessary attack just by losing an armband. Okay guys, so those are a few things for you to bear in mind as you look forward to taking your ultimate summer vacation, right? I do not suspect that outside is going to be a thing anytime soon, that the place is going to open up, despite the fact that a lot of tourists are coming in. I am hearing now of these cruise ships that are supposed to come set up shop here. So let's see how that goes. But in another video, I will share with you some alternative things that you can do besides going to an all-inclusive hotel. I'll show you a cheaper way to enjoy this island and have some fun. So there was something that's quite critical that I should have mentioned, and I just don't know how I could have allowed this to slip me. Make me fast forward to something that you must wait, not fast forward. We need to backtrack because I've already said we were done, right? So let's go back. This is a key thing, and I'm going to make this one quick. Please, when you go to an all-inclusive hotel, you see those nice sweet people who come, hey, I'd like to set up for you to have lunch with me tomorrow morning or breakfast with me tomorrow morning, and I want to introduce it to a package and I want to share something with you, and it's because you're staying and you're special. Let me tell you something, put on your school face from now when you watch the video until you reach at the hotel, and simply say politely, no thank you. And even when they're going to be breathing down your backs like Backtrack massa, maintain your no thank you. Because if you actually take that bait, you're going to be wasting your time. The whole idea behind this is that they're going to take you for a tour of the hotel, and they're probably going to show you a penthouse suite, which looks really good. You never know, say, God, water could have looked so good from that the angle. But that's what it's going to be about. And then ultimately they're going to offer you a price. It's almost like you're buying into a timeshare. So they're going to let you know that there's a certain time period within which you can access this spot, and you can do so every year. And then when you pay for this, you can bring another 1 million people with you, and the list goes on and on and on. And it sounds good and it sounds colorful. But let me tell you, when you know that this is a trap, if you ever say to these people, well, I'm sorry, I'm leaving tomorrow, I'll want to look into that offer tomorrow. Trust and believe that the good treatment and the smiles and everything that's done, and you pretty much might be escorted through a back door. Okay, so you've slipped down the ladder, the rung on the ladder, you're gone down at the bottom rung because you never bought into this sales pitch that they're making. So don't waste your time, guys, because the truth is, for some persons, no matter what they're going to tell you, say, even if you did have money, when you work out the maths, when you do the equation, you know that that is going to really and truly be a waste of time and a waste of energy. And besides, you know, some persons will always visit a particular spot annually. But if you are a hodophile like I am, a wanderlust, you're going to know that you want to try different spaces. So remember this, you know, this is a pro tip from you. Get the extra kiki, nice smiley smiley, politely say no thank you. All right guys, so in real life I am now officially finished. So once again, go ahead, like, share, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.